So with our handsome Mr. Z, we're gonna do a little bit with the Super Bowls game. So this is again another pattern game that I find very helpful. I'm just gonna warm him up with a couple little find-its just to get in the groove. So the pattern bowls, the pattern game called Super Bowls, there we go, if my brain wants to work. This one can be immensely helpful if your babe is starting to get overwhelmed or overstimulated in certain settings. I would highly recommend, just like with most of the pattern games, is start them off in a comfortable, calm environment and don't pair them instantly with the things your puppy deems hard. So I know, for example, I mentioned this to Miss P, like this could be a potential really great game for her to practice in the home and then outside of the home, like in a softer bubble and then in the yard. So I know for Miss P, she gets a little overwhelmed when she hears novel noises or dog sounds, but she can't quite see where they're coming from and she gets a little bit overwhelmed. With Mr. Z, it could be also very helpful for trying to calm him and give him something mentally and physically to do. He's like, who put that bowl there? Ready? Find it. So what we're going to do with Mr. Z is with the Super Bowls game is the moment he looks and gives me eye contact, I would go, yes, and then plop it in one of the bowls. So the benefit of this is when the puppy reorients, and again, he's looking at my hand, so I want to make sure I'm getting eyeballs on me. So right when he gives me eyes, yes, and I put a snack in one of the bowls. So what this game starts to help your puppy do, yes, is focus in on you from the environment. But the benefit of having some targets on the ground is then, yes, you can then have your puppy, he's like, my legs. He's like a moose. He's a little awkward. That's okay. So the benefit of this is your puppy can start to hone in on you, yes, from the environment. And instead of scanning the horizon to see what new thing or scary thing or exciting thing might be nearby, yes, you can then go ahead. And if he wasn't so awkward, he wouldn't necessarily step on the bowls. So, but then this can be great, yes, for eventually you would fade out these bowls, or you could even use targets, for example. So in the beginning, I start off really easy, yes, and we're moving around. If movement equaled he was getting overwhelmed, right now this is more like the everywhere sort of bowl setup. You could also do this where the bowls are in a row, yes. And then what your puppy starts to do is from, let's say, the house, they could make their way from the house, like the step of the house in and out, that zone, to then checking in with you and making your way further out into the yard. So if, let's say, this is really hard, like going from the home to the backyard, you could then set up a row of bowls. But if, let's say, your puppy gets overwhelmed or starts to have a rough time, yes, the only time you would go ahead, he's like, where'd it go? Is the only time you'd go ahead and move forward is if the puppy was able and managed to give you those eyes, yes. And then you'd go ahead and feed into one of the target bowls. Yes. So obviously right now I'm just kind of stationary. Yes. And then as he's eating, I then move. And what I'm trying to do is the moment he checks in, yes, that's when the food arrives in the next little station. Yes. So in the beginning, you might do this more stationary with a couple little bubbles or bowls, for example, near you. So you've got those little targets that are easy for him to be near. And then from there, he says, lady, I gotta go smell. So he's a little distracted off in the corner. So we might go ahead and see if I can get his attention with just a little Zeus. Yes, nice name recognition. So obviously throughout this game, there might be moments where you lose him, which is fine. So I'm waiting for those eyes, yes. And then I plop the food into the bowl. So you could be also doing this for like loose leash walking, where if, let's say, he is having a harder time and he's not quite as attentive to you, getting him to do these lovely check-ins, yes. And then move through the environment. This could also create a bubble where he can then start to hone in on something on the ground versus like his sibling or versus, a distraction like a squirrel off in the distance. So the benefit of the pattern game again, and I know he's a little tired because he was romping a little bit earlier, is we start to build in this little check-in. So right there, yes, and we feed into the bowl. Then I might move as he's busy eating it so I can see if he goes and does another little check-in with me. He says, oh, so tired. He's wondering what his lovely lady friend is doing too. Right there, yes, and I feed into the bowl. So again, I'm going to move to the next little zone. Right there, yes. So once he locks eyes on me, yes. Gorgeous. Yes. And you can again make these much closer. You can again fade out the bowls and use little visual targets. Yes. And then eventually you might use no targets. But for right now, the benefit of the patterns is it keeps everything, yes, consistent for the puppy, even though the environment or the world around him might be very not consistent. So right there, yes. He's like, where'd it go? Well, you don't have to. He's like, I'll step in the bowl. Whatever works, I guess, with Mr. Z. So again, I'm waiting for those eyes to lock on. Right there, yes. Gorgeous. So you can then start to move around the environment, and you could hope that he goes and gives you those eyes. So right there, yes. So I'm waiting for the eyes on me, not my hands. Yes. 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 He's doing a real nice job. Yes. Yes. And I would only do it for a few moments at a time. So because if your babe is starting to get really fatigued, yes. We don't want to, again, when we're training, make things so long in duration. Yes. That the dog starts to want to be like, can we just stop what we're doing? I'm getting winded. I want to keep it very easy and attainable. Yes. Where Mr. Z finds value in giving these weird new skills a try. So right here, I'm just waiting for him to check in with me. Yes. Oh, I don't know who's knocking. Oh, hold on one second. Let me just pause the video for 1 second. There's a gentleman outside, and I'm just going to go check real quick, and then I'll be right back to this.